on, guys? It's your boy Ant, GodMake32 on Instagram, and today we back with another reaction, man. And we still coming off of DC Fandom. Today we got the new Rockstar trailer breakdown and Easter eggs for the Batman. And I can't wait for this, man. You already know how it goes, man. Erick Voss gonna come in. He's gonna go through the trailer with a fine-tooth comb. He's gonna find everything that we didn't see on there, or things we did see, but he just knows way more about. He's gonna inform us about all the little details that you want to know if you love all these comics, if you love all these movies, if you just love these themed heroes in general, man. You know what I mean? Like the epicness of all of this superhero content that will be coming out over these next couple of months is just beyond me, man. The scale is beyond grand. It's like I said, epic. I'm gonna keep using that word, but like, on one hand, we got somebody over here using magic to break the multiverse, and on the other hand, we got somebody finding out their powers using his speed, the Flash finding out his powers, and you know you got the Batman over here on his planet. He's just trying to come through and be Batman, man. You know what I mean? He just wants to be Batman. He just wants to be Batman. New Rockstars, the Batman breakdown. Let's get it.
Back to New Rockstars. I'm Erick Voss, and this is
Eric.
The new trailer for The Batman, which Robert Pattinson's Batman speaks. Well, mostly with his fists.
Yeah.
Which is how we like it. Now, solving the Riddler Zodiac style.
Hey, real quick. If these people are talking about his voice modulator and they are loving it, but when Affleck's voice modulator was debuted, they hated it and said he sounded like a robot, I'm going to be upset. I will. Back to it.
First, in the first trailer, awoke inside me an investigative obsession that I will now focus with a frame-by-frame breakdown of this trailer.
Yes,
all
sir.
the clues you missed for this film's deeper mystery.
Let's
get started.
Love the music. Love the music. Music is epic.
Hands up!
Mr.
Stay still!
Nashton. It's the Riddle Man.
Rain-soaked corner in diner where, enjoying a late-night latte, is Paul Dano as Edward Nashton, this movie's Riddler, a serial killer inspired by the Zodiac Killer, both the real-life figure, who may or may not have been recently identified, as well as the Zodiac's depiction in David Fincher's 2007 film. Now, notice how the rain is almost constant in this film whenever characters are on the lower levels, which I think is another element from director Matt Reeves paying homage to David Fincher, but instead of the director's Detective Noir 7. Every exterior shot in the city is covered with a heavy rain downpour, which Fincher did to underline the brutality of urban life. Now, notice how you can see a sign for the Anchorage stop lower Gotham on the elevated train platform, which gives Gotham a sense of layers, a division between the elite and the underworld. Now, actually, Batman's Batcave is beneath all of this in the Wayne Terminus subway line, which was part of his family's original infrastructure for Gotham that we saw in the Batman Earth 1 comics.
Yeah, real quick, man. He just touched on it. It's straight out of Earth 1, and that's something I've always liked when they went into this version of Batman, because that was in the original teaser trailer that came out last year. When he opened the thing, they went into it. I think it was a New Rockstars. They went into it, and they showed us that it was Wayne Terminus. It was the original tunnels, and my mind was blown. I'm like, yo, this is amazing. You know what I mean? Because I do like everything that they're doing so far, and they're gonna do with the Batman. Everything looks amazing so far. I just wish it was banned. But Mr. Pattinson, you look good so far, bro. Back to it.
Apparently the subway line has all been abandoned. It could be that the sins of his father was really to sandwich all of the destitute of Gotham City into this surface level, stuck out in the rain, with the platforms weirdly left uncovered to expose the poor working class to the elements. Because they're on a train platform. Why are they covered in rain? There's really no overhang there? Now, framed here in the diner window, Edward evokes another famous Edward Hopper, his famous Nighthawks painting, Creatures of the Night. But even with obvious police lights flickering on the window, Nashton doesn't run for it, and when GCPD swarms in, he calmly raises his hands to surrender. It's as if he anticipated being caught like this, the way John Doe surrendering in Seven, or the Joker's surrender in The Dark Knight were actually part of their master plan.
100%.
Also worth noting how odd it is for Gotham police.
Hey, real quick, Shout out to Jim Carrey for playing the Riddler back in the 90s. If he didn't get anything right about the character, this is the only thing he got right about the character. He got the little bit of Creep vibes right in the 90s, and he thinks he's the smartest person in any room that he walks in. And I think that's what Dano is bringing to this role, but just like on a more grounded and gritty level. You know what I mean? Like, I think in this case, they want to make you believe that he is the smartest person in any room, and he does think that he's smarter than everybody in Gotham. You know what I mean? It's part of the thing of being the Riddler, man. He's that sure of himself in all of these cases. Back to it.
To catch the big bad criminal in a Batman movie, with Batman not even part of this raid, meaning that either Gordon and his team were acting on information that they did not share with Batman, or Batman didn't want to move on Nashton yet, or couldn't. Nashton was drinking out of an, of course, green-rimmed cup, green being the Riddler's favorite color, and he traced in the foam a perfect question mark. It's almost out of place how clean and crafted this is in a movie that's otherwise total gritty and sloppy, making this a kind of calling card from someone who wanted this to go down this way. And
100%.
likely we'll have several more of Riddles marked exactly this way that reveal themselves while he is in police custody. Moving on.
Fear is a tool.
My American Horror Story fans will know what that's from.
So the title's Slam In, synced with the sounds of heavy circuit breakers flipping, the third of which ignites the bat signal, with the rain hitting those hot shutters.
I do like the new bat signal, though.
Like the rain trying to cool off the hot-headed Batman, but failing miserably. And I love how this is not the sharply welded stencil that we've seen in past Batman films, but rather the shutters are smashed in with a jagged piece of scrap metal jammed in there. The effect is a sloppier bat signal in the sky, like a chunk has been bitten out of the left wing, kind of like all the bruising this Batman endures as a younger, brasher vigilante who refuses to pull any punches. And rather than perched on the roof of police headquarters, as the bat signal usually always is, this signal is tucked in a lower level of the building, still under construction, and like everything here, exposed to the rainfall. Reeves called this a Year 2 Batman, and neither he nor Jim Gordon have really risen up to their unimpeachable statuses in Gotham's justice system. Moving on.
I love that.
It's not just a call.
I don't know how much they're going to go into it, but I love what they're doing with this version of Jim Gordon. Love the fact that he's black. Wouldn't have wanted them to like race bend the character like that, but shit, what's done is done. You feel what I mean? And like, if they're gonna dig into it and show us his rising, it would be akin to what we watched basically in the FX show that was in the Fox show that was Gotham. In Gotham was for the majority of Gotham until I want to say like the final season. There was no Batman at all. You know what I mean? It was young Bruce. Dude was 10 to 14 years old, and then it was Jim. It was Jim's show. It was a police procedural just in the middle of Gotham with Jim trying to handle all of that, coming in straight from the military and moving up the ranks by doing what he did to become unimpeachable, as they say. But back to it.
It's a warning.
Love it.
So we see the white face paint kids on the train, and then the shots of that train platform from the previous trailer, meaning Batman must have first spotted these guys while they were on the train, and you can see it from the falling rain on this side of the window, and his moving reflection in the glass. Batman was totally watching them from outside the car, and then stalked them to the platform. Yeah, this is all super voyeuristic. The kids weren't doing anything wrong on that train car. They weren't harassing that woman on her phone. And yet, Batman doles out total overkill that freaks them the f*** out. Now, notice on the wall behind these guys is a sign with the word Halloween. Now, in addition to Earth 1 and Ego, Jeff Loeb's Batman The Long Halloween seems to be a major influence on this film's story, as one of the great Batman detective stories. But this could also just be telling us what time of year this is. These kids might just be in face paint, not because they're part of a gang, but Because it's freaking Halloween. Yeah, I know they shot him. I just think it could have been self-defense for this creeper following him around. Now, Batman does take a shot to the chest at point-blank range, impressively deflecting off his emblem, which do look like detachable weapons that could pop out of his chest, usable as knives or batarangs. And as the shot ricochet, the guy behind him ducks and does a quick double take, reacting to the bullet whizzing past him, and then he freaking electrocutes this shooter in the neck to the point where a sizzle of smoke wafts up from his neck. Apparently,
how did he catch that? How you catch a sizzle of smoke?
Moving on.
I've been trying to reach you.
Find the gun!
This is about a king.
The bat voice. I love
Match.
So here Batman meets with Edward Nashton while he is in lockup, and he wears a striped jumpsuit labeled Arkham State Hospital. That was actually the name of the hospital in Joker, where Arthur Fleck obtained his mother's medical records. But the fact that this isn't Arkham Asylum or like Blackgate Prison or even the county jail suggests that Nashton might have been able to use an insanity plea. Now notice how we never see Paul Dano's face as Edward Nashton in this trailer, but we do get close with his bespectacled reflection in the window, but he does not flinch as Batman pounds the glass. He just taunts, "I've been trying to reach you." Maybe his communication has been in the forms of these additional crimes and riddles addressed to the Batman that reveal themselves while Nashton has been locked up. He pre-constructed all of this. You could actually see Nashton paralleling Hannibal Lecter, in which these guys' imprisonment seems to have no effect on their influence. And in Silence of the Lambs, Hannibal Lecter also left these creepy little goodies ready to be found by authorities that he just tucked away years in advance on the outside. This Riddler may also be inspired by the Riddler and Batman.
Love Hannibal Lecter, by the way.
In which the Riddler impressively masterminded the whole conspiracy against Batman, despite appearing to be an already dealt with non-threat in the plot. Now, there's an overhead shot that shows an explosion tear through the city alley. There's actually quite a few overhead shots in this trailer. The cinematography is also reminiscent of Zodiac, one of my favorite shots in that movie, where Fincher followed the taxi in which Zodiac murdered taxi driver Paul Stein. Bruce Wayne shows up at the funeral of Gotham Mayor Don Mitchell Jr. That was the murder victim from the crime scene in the first trailer. Selena Kyle also arrives wearing her tall, lacy boots. Set photos actually showed her on the arm of John
spicy
as Carmine Falcone. Now remember, the first clue left behind by the Riddler asks, what does a liar do when he's dead? And
hey, I forget the name of that actor that's playing Carmine Falcone, man, but like, I love that actor. Like, he's been great in every movie that he's been in, every single time, man. And the first movie that I could like remember him like stealing the show for me, it was like Oh Brother We're Out Thou with George Clooney. Oh, Batman. Back to it.
I was able to decipher that code using the same double-letter substitution method mentioned by Robert Graysmith in the Zodiac film to translate the creepy dad joke answer of "he lies still." And I think once Batman decoded that, he interpreted it as the Riddler's next target, Mitchell's funeral, a place where this liar politician literally lies still, like, and in Nashton's eyes would continue to lie as he is eulogized as a good man. And by the way, the presence of a hoo-hoo owl on that card, combined with the Riddler's later clue of "if you are justice, please do not lie, what is the price for your blind eye?" alluding to Lady Justice, the symbol of the court of law, could point to the court of owls,
the court
possibly being behind all of this.
of owls.
On that theory.
Wait, real quick, this is for me. If they pull a court of owls and like, if they like, okay, let's say they loop it in the end, the court was feeding Riddler all the information, the court was feeding the Riddler all the giving him all the means of doing all the things that he's doing in the movie. And movie 2 is Court of Owls. When I tell you I'm gonna lose my shit, I'm gonna lose my shit. Because him finding the Court of Owls, him fighting the Talons, him like just going through that, losing his mind, going through the tunnels, like that was amazing. If they brought that to film, especially with Robert Pattinson and the way how he playing this crazy Batman, like I'd love that shit, man. I definitely love it, man. Back to it.
I can take care of myself.
If this continues,
Big cats.
it won't be long before you've nothing left.
Yeah, Alfred, tell us that.
Happens to me.
It's only gonna get worse for you.
Don't care what happens to me.
Yeah, we see some of the romantic chemistry between Selina Kyle and Batman. This is actually in the same spot that Gordon beams the bat signal. You can see it over there on the right. And we see the many forms of Selina throughout this trailer. Her shorter hair, the wigs she wears in disguise. And we also see Colin Farrell as Oswald Cobblepot, not yet the Penguin. And the scarring on the right side of his face is even more severe, as if whatever slashed him across the cheek caused the muscles beneath to detach and droop. There's also some more recent abrasions on his head. And then in the shot of Andy Serkis as Alfred, this guy also has a nasty looking scar across his eyebrow. Is everyone in this movie getting in bar fights?
Yup.
Meanwhile, Bruce Wayne reads a newspaper. The masthead reads the Gotham Times with the name Mitchell across the banner, probably a headline reporting Mayor Mitchell's murder. And then Bruce lays out all of his Riddler evidence across the floor. I love these kind of shots. Now, I would say this is just like a brainstorming room, but there is police tape across the bottom left. So this might have been a crime scene that the cops already found, but now it looks like Bruce has taken over the space carrying spray paint. So he was the one to draw all of this out, I guess desperately trying to get inside Nashton's mind. And it's interesting how he is at the center, right at the question mark, showing that Bruce Wayne is really at the heart of this mystery. And he's surrounded by the hatch marks that the Riddler, I guess, uses in his iconography, as we see in Matt Reeves' release character posters. Now, in the bottom left is written Mitchell for Mayor Don Mitchell, and photos, I assume, from his crime scene.
I like it.
Now, remember, on his walls were newspaper clippings of his recent mayoral re-election over opponent Bella Real, and Frame newspaper front page is celebrating his bust of the Maroni crime family, who are rivals to the Falcones, making me think that Carmine Falcone might have helped Mitchell get re-elected.
Boy,
It's
Carmine.
interesting how he shows
Yeah.
up to pay his respects at his funeral. Coulson, of course, refers to District Attorney Gil Coulson, Peter Sarsgaard, who was that guy who was forced into plowing that SUV through Mitchell's funeral, and he was strapped with an explosive collar, an iPhone on his hand set to speaker mode, and "No More Lies" taped over his mouth, and then another riddle for Batman on his chest. Now, that SUV was marked with the letters DOA, which could be a bit of wordplay suggesting that the DA, the district attorney, was DOA, dead on arrival. In the first trailer, we heard Nashton's voice saying,
If you are justice, please
don't lie.
What is the price for your blind eye?
I like it.
and that audio sounded echoey as if it was playing from Golson's speakerphone, echoing in that church. And I think those are the words of the second riddle that is taped to his chest. The answer referring to Lady Justice, who is often depicted blind and carries the scales and the executioner's sword to behead the guilty. So the answer, going by the setup and punchline structure of the first riddle, is probably you get a head. A head. Now we see Savage written on the floor, referring to Police Commissioner Peter Savage, played by Alex Burns, who I think will be the next victim found beheaded.
I was
Actually,
just about
the
to say,
photos
he
of
ain't long for
G
this
in
world.
Savage looks like it could be a severed head. Now the big clue here is outlined in a square, "The sins of my father," which Bruce wrote here, so he's referring to his father, Thomas Wayne, and I think it could be connected to what Nashton told Bruce in the first trailer.
You're part of this too. How am I part of it? You'll see.
So what were Thomas Wayne's sins? Well, in the bottom right, there's the phrase, "renewal is a lie." Matt Reeves has cited the movie Chinatown as an influence, and Chinatown's a great movie. It's the story of how corrupt LA leaders used water infrastructure to control the city in the 1930s, and now there's a ton of corruption and murder centered all around that. And notice how here, Nashton has been targeting specifically city leaders, the mayor, the DA, the police commissioner. And among those
It's all
newspaper
good.
clippings that
It's all
Nashton
good.
labeled lies in the first trailer, there was a sub-headline that read, "Seawall construction stall." So I think that Gotham leaders were trying to push through a city renewal program that involved redoing the infrastructure of the city, but corruptly doing it in a way that would actually liquidate poor communities and cruelly target innocent people as criminals so that they could lock them up and steal their homes. That's why I think the Wayne terminal
Regular.
that Batman's been using as a
People do that all
backcave is
the time.
abandoned because his ancestors, the Wayne family, originally had an underground subway infrastructure that could have helped the city, but they shuttered it in order to redline people into these ghettos. And now city leaders have been leaning on their cozy relationship with an off-the-books enforcer to clear out these undesirables, an enforcer called the Batman. Now, I mentioned Court of Owls. I think there is a chance this movie could connect with the Court of Owls, an amazing comic storyline in which Bruce Wayne learns that his Wayne family was actually connected to a cult called the Court of Owls, who's been secretly running Gotham City from the shadows for centuries using an executioner named Talon. Now, Batman in this movie has similar quill-lined gauntlets that Talon wears. I'm just thinking it is possible that...
When I seen that, like, he's talking about it now, but when I seen that in the first trailer, that's the first thing my mind went to, because I remember watching the comic on Comic Story, and when he pulled out that, I was just like, yo, that's cool. If Batman had that, that would be cool, and I would, like, shoot batarangs and stuff. But, like, nah, he has, like, the legit John straight off of the Talon on his arm right now. Like, that's nuts. Back to it.
Thinking he was a good guy vigilante all this time, Batman has actually been doing the bidding of a corrupt police force.
Exactly.
Carrying out the vision of his cruel elitist father. And now he justifies as vengeance, actually unjustified brutality against poor trick-or-treaters. Next clip.
If that's the story...
Oh, take it easy, sweetheart. Hear everything they say, ain't you?
I like how Penguin talks. Hey, take it easy, sweetheart.
Who are you under there?
Yeah, we see more of this crazy violence as Batman beats the piss out of some security guards at what I think might be Cobblepot's nightclub, the Iceberg Lounge. Batman grabs the bat and hits the guard with the other end, knocking out his earpiece. Vengeance. Vengeance for what? Even Cobblepot is like, hey, take it easy, sweetheart. He accuses him of being exactly what the ghost stories describe him as. And it might be true. On to the next clip.
That's lit. That's even litter, I swear.
I'm vengeance.
All of that. Love it. Take my money. I can't wait.
The bat signal from. Actually, in the lower right of frame, you can see Batman wrestling with someone wearing glasses. This could be Nashton after his release from prison. Then Batman viciously charges down a fancy hallway. He just gobbles up those bullets with the only light coming from the gunfire. I love this. Actually, the director of photography on this film was Greg Fraser, who was the same guy who shot the movie Rogue One in a number of Mandalorian episodes, and with Michael Giacchino's score evoking the Imperial March from Star Wars. Yeah, this totally seems like a recreation of Darth Vader's
dun, dun, dun,
one of my favorite Star Wars sequences at the end of Rogue One, shot by the same cinematographer. And we see the Batmobile this movie, an awesome looking muscle car. I love how they put the camera in these impossible close-ups right on the Batman's hand as he cranks up the engine, like increasing the burn of a jet engine. And then somehow gets the camera right there at his feet as he stomps on the accelerator, meaning that they had to rig up a version of this car that was like a cross-section of it that didn't have...
Oh, that was all CG.
Moving on.
What's black and blue and dead all over?
Okay, next Batman purchase on this clock tower wearing a wingsuit glider gear, escaping the police. I like how they mount the camera on his back to show that last cop's trying to reach out to grab him as he leaps off the ledge. Yeah. I actually assume this is the tower that he ascended in the previous trailer as police fired upon him. So at some point, Batman's relationship with the cops turns sour. Then there's this awesome
if they corrupt, it always goes sour.
I actually think this could be after he
and Jim is the only one that like be
into
cool
that
with them.
flooded area. Perhaps one of the Riddler's clues led them there. That could be something that unearths that whole infrastructure conspiracy. And then Nashton's voice asks, what is black and blue and dead all over? A play on the old newspaper joke, what's black and white and red all over? Which Nashton literally does by painting the red word lies over black and white newspaper. But in this case, the answer is you, which must be to taunt Batman's bruised body as he tried to play cop, the boys in blue. Now you may see this as a nod to the black and blue Nightwing, Dick Grayson. Though, as this is a younger Batman, I don't know if he would have had a Nightwing or a Robin at this point. And then we learned that Nashton live streams some of his riddles on social media, where he wears his military extreme cold weather mask, but wears his glasses over it. Just a nice little detail, similar to the Zodiac Killer, the way he was described by victims as wearing a mask, but wearing glasses over the mask. And then we see Batman angrily beating the shit out of somebody. If you push it on the bottom of the frame there, that is totally Nashton in his mask. and he's hitting him so hard that Selina watches in fear of Batman's rage, like on a date with a guy at a sports bar who is screaming at the TV. Do I really want to go home with someone who might kill me? Then we see someone in latex gloves unfolding a note reading, "See you in hell," on a scratched card of a dark green color. That's not a riddle. I kind of wonder if this could be some kind of fake clue planted to try to frame Batman for all the crimes that Riddler committed. This could be what leads the cops to turn on him. Moving on.
I got you! I got you!
You thought. We out.
Yeah, this rules! I like how Cobblepot celebrates, kind of like Two-Face in Batman Forever, when he thought that he had burned Batman alive, just to have him leap out of the flames. By the way, that Val Kilmer Batman suit was the same one that Robert Pattinson tried on for his screen test when he was auditioning for this role. And then on to the last part.
Hey, that's an amazing shot. An amazing shot. Oh, geez. Love it.
Nice. The framing of Batman walking up to Cobblepot upside down like a bat hanging in a cave.
Yep.
The complete embodiment of fear. And on that title card, that bat emblem is laid inside the text with its wings and hinges and segments, kind of like the bat emblem on his chest. But that central region with the pointed ears looks less mechanical and more hand-drawn, almost like a sketch of a child of the monster under his bed. In this film, having a title like The Batman, it's referring to the Vigilante as a folk legend feared by Gotham's underworld, which is why I think this Batman might be more of a monstrous lie, working in the shadows of Gotham, more of a villain than Bruce Wayne may realize. You can support New Rockstars by checking out our merch options at newrockstarsmerch.com.
I need some merch from New Rockstars. I'm gonna definitely get some.
Breakdowns of everything you love.
Need to
Thanks for
update
watching.
my.
Bye.
But yeah, guys, that was New Rockstars trailer breakdown for the Batman. If you like what they got going on, the link will be in the description. Go over there, man. Let them know that Alternativefaxxx sent you, man. And yeah, I love everything that he was talking about on there. I had gist of almost everything that he was saying, but like I told you before, they go into so much more detail, and I've always loved that about them, man. I'm gonna keep watching. I'm always there. I'm subscribed. I've always admired the depth that they go into and how quickly they turn around the videos. But that's what you can do when you got like infrastructure and shit, and not like doing this shit in your room. But yeah, guys, if you like what we got going on, go ahead and hit that like button. Please make sure to subscribe. It helps us way more than you realize. And go ahead and click that little bell icon so you can be notified when we upload new videos. We out.